We're so happy to have you today. We wanted to spend the next hour just talking about quizzing. So my plan was to spend about 20-25 minutes just going through a couple key aspects of quizzing, and I'll pause in between each of those 5 points to take your questions. So we're going to start just really quickly showing you what our quizzes look like. Then we're going to show you how to assign an off-the-shelf quiz in the Visible Body Quiz Bank. The third thing is how you can easily edit a pre-made quiz. The fourth thing is how you can make your own questions and turn those into a quiz. And then lastly, we'll spend a few minutes looking at the gradebook. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And here's where we are. So what you're seeing, everybody can see that okay? Emily, you're seeing that?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So what I wanted to do is show you what our 3 types of quizzes look like. So I'm in my student account. You can see that I have some assignments in here. The first couple things I want to show you are a couple of respiratory quizzes that are in here. So I have a dissection quiz to show you first. That's the 3D model. So I just want to give you a quick idea of what that looks like. So this is what the student will see. You'll notice that this first example is a timed quiz. So I'm going to show you what a timed quiz looks like and also show you that you can see the feedback after each question. So there's some settings you can make when you set up the quiz, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So this is what the student's going to see when you assign, for this example, a timed quiz using the 3D model. Okay, so the first question is select the epiglottis. And this one I left in here because I want to show you that you're going to be asking the student. In some cases, they'll be selecting a structure that's right in front of them. And in some cases, they're going to have to go ahead and dissect the model. So I'm in here looking around for that epiglottis. And I can see it here. And so then I'm going to go ahead and submit it. And look, I got it wrong. Isn't that interesting? So I'll select something else because I want to try again. So I'm going to go ahead and submit try again. So I'm going to just dissect away to get to various structures here in my model. And I'm going to go ahead and find the epiglottis in the model. And it's going to be real easy. So I'm just using my trackpad. The student's going to be using their mouse. Can also be using, it's really easy to navigate, and I'm just kind of using my trackpad right now. So here we go. I'm going to hit submit, and I got that correct. So you can see that there's a way for you to set up the quiz that the student can have multiple attempts at the question. Okay, and then this one, they don't have to do as much dissecting, right? Select any part of the trachea. So I'll submit that, and you'll see I got it correct. And then the next question real fast, select the middle lobe of the right lung. So here's my middle lobe, I'll select it. So this is, this last question, you can see down here at the bottom, I want to point out real fast, there's the time ticking away here at the bottom, and you can see I'm on question 4 of 4. So select any of the vessels that convey deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. So let's see, I'm going to come here, I'm going to select this, and let's see how I did. I did that fine. So here's my detailed quiz results. What happens when you give the students multiple attempts at a question? We'll count that as correct if they finally do get the correct answer. Now, multiple choice quiz looks a little different, obviously not using the 3D model. So this is an example of a quiz that is not timed and that you only get 1 attempt per question. So this is what the multiple choice quiz looks like right now. So you can see I've got 3 questions here. So what is a delicate double-layered serous membrane? What is that covers the surface of each lung? So I'll go ahead and select pleura. Now you'll see I don't know if I got it right or wrong. How many alveoli exist inside each lung? I know there's a gazillion of those. And then let's just see, I'm going to get this one wrong on purpose just so I can show you what the detailed quiz results look like. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. You can see I got 2 out of 3 correct. And there's my total grade. And when I look at the quiz details, you're going to see that this is what it looks like. It shows you what you answered and that it was wrong, and then what you answered and that it was right. So that's what the detailed quiz results look like. And then the last type of quiz that I will show you is the short answer quiz. And I'm going to show you what it looks like for the student, and we're going to go through at the end and show that's the only type of quiz that's manually graded by you. So I'll show you that whole process a little bit later. So here's what the short answer looks like. We only have we give just one attempt for short answer, thinking that you are not probably going to want to manually grade a bunch of quizzes. That will take a very long time. So real simple, that, you can give, the student has this big box to type in their answer. So I'm not going to really attempt to answer this. I'll just do this. And then we'll just put in some fake things, and then I'll show you how you grade this a little later. So there you go. So this is what the student sees after a short answer quiz. So you can review your responses as a student, but they have to wait for you to go ahead and grade them on each one. So that's what the student sees. So that is sort of the end of the just very first overall section of what does the student experience look like for the 3 types of quizzes. So before I move on to how you assign quizzes, does anybody have any questions?
And you can feel free again. Oh, we got somebody raising their hand. So Valerie, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead. You just need to unmute yourself on your end.
Okay. Hi there. We're just curious, is there a way to combine questions from the 3 types of quizzes? Or if you're doing the multiple choice, you can only have multiple choice questions in that quiz for that day?
Yeah, that's a great question. For right now, you can only have one type of question in each quiz. So a lot of times folks, and in all the pre-made courses that we make as well, we'll give a multiple choice quiz and a dissection quiz in the same assignment.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep. We do have it on our list for our future development plans for sure. I think what we'll probably end up starting off with is being able to have a quiz that's multiple choice and dissection together, because those are both auto-graded, and that'll be a good place for us to start. And then short answer is kind of its own thing because it's manually graded.
Any other questions? Again, you can put them in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, go ahead. Charles, I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead, Charles.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, just a few questions. Number one, when you do the multiple choice questions and then you do the dissection, is there a time limit that you can place on each one of them? Or is it just, how do you put a time limit for the multiple choice and make it different from the dissection?
Right, so that's a great question. Right now, the way it works is that in one quiz assignment, the quizzes in that assignment will have the same properties. So for example, in this cranial nerves, this is just a sample course I'm going to be using for today. I have a multiple choice quiz as a separate quiz assignment. And that way you can make your own decisions about that quiz on its own. So this is what the assignment details look like. And this is where you can set your time limit and you can set your points and all that. If you're okay with both quizzes being having the same properties here and both being timed, you can put them in the same assignment, but otherwise you would want to do them one at a time in the way that it looks.
When I went to the quiz, for example, in the integumentary, I'll pick that one, for anatomy and pathology and physiology, it showed that you had the multiple choice quiz and it showed that you had the dissection quiz. When I went to edit it, it wouldn't allow me to do different times for each one. It was like you have to have the same time.
If they're in the same assignment, they do. So for example, I'm not sure if I have one in this sample course, but for example, I can show you if you had, so, you know, these are separate assignments, as you can see, so they have separate, you know, entries here in the course. But say you were here and you wanted to add 2 quizzes to this assignment, you know, you would create your assignment with 2 quizzes, and I can show you how to do that in a few minutes. And then these settings would apply to both. So if you don't want the settings to apply to both, then you just make them separate assignments and you should be able to do that.
I think the answer comes out that you just said. You take the multiple choice quiz and basically the dissection quiz, and instead of having them together, you separate them out.
That's right. And so that they would look like this. If you want this to be timed and this not to be timed, you do them as unique assignments.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, we have a question from Jean. I'm just going to read it in the interest of time. So it's, can you set a release time for them to see the correct answers? I want all students to take it before they can see the correct answers.
So this is a really good question, and we have part of that functionality. So let's go ahead and take a look at the settings for this quiz again. And we can just take the time right now. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk through, I'm going to kind of merge this idea with the next thing that I wanted to show, which is how do you assign an off-the-shelf quiz. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to walk through what all those parameters are. So we're going to go through and say we're going to assign a quiz, and actually we'll just pick, we can pick, let's pick axial skeleton. So what you do, let me just come back here for a second. So I'm here in the course, and as you probably know, we have a ton of pre-made courses that have assignments all set up. So here I am in the axial skeleton chapter, and we have these different exercises to go through the various parts of the axial skeleton, and you'll see I have a multiple choice quiz, but I don't have a dissection one. So I'm going to show you how to assign it, and then we're going to talk through what all these parameters mean, and we're going to talk about when the students see correct answers. So I have multiple choice, I want a dissection, so let's go find one. So you'll see up here at the top right, create new assignment, and I'm going to pick, this is where you get to pick if you want a non-graded assignment, you go to one of our apps. If you want a graded quiz, that's where you go here. And this is if you want to upload your own content, which of course, I'm sure you know that you can upload your own files, PDFs, PowerPoints, whatnot, or link to URLs too. But here we're going to pick the graded quiz bank. So what we do is we bring you right into our quiz bank. And we're going to look for all the quizzes that Visible Body has. You'll see these are all instructors at my Visible Body school. You'll probably see your name. You're going to see Visible Body. You're going to see Atlas quizzes, and you'll see the other instructors at your school who are using Courseware. So I'm going to look at Visible Body quizzes. I'm going to look at dissection quizzes, and I want to go find the axial skeleton quizzes. So I'm going to select skeletal system for my main topic. And then I'm presented with the relevant subtopics. So here's axial. Okay, and then here we go. I see an axial skeleton dissection quiz. I'm able to just click on it here, and then I can see just in 2D what all those questions are. And this is a 2D representation of what the model will be for the student. If you want to preview the quiz and see how it will look to the student, you always can do that also. But for right now, I can look at this and I can say, this looks really good to me. I'm going to go ahead and choose it and assign it. So I'm going to pick it, and then we're going to select continue. And now I'm going to name my assignment, and I'm going to call this the axial, oh look, I must have already made one of these before, axial skeleton dissection quiz. And what I'm going to do is select the due date, and I want that due next Friday. And you can change the time here also. And then you can choose if you want to delay the release or make it available right now. So I'll make it available now, but just if you select yes, you can go ahead and pick a date you want it to become visible to them. But I'll go ahead and select no for now. And then let's put this in the folder that makes the most sense. So you saw we had an axial skeleton folder in the course, so that's where you pick that. And this is where you choose some different features of how you want the quiz to be graded, for example. So I'm going to give this quiz, I'm going to say it's worth 10 points, and I'll say that I want the grade to display in the gradebook as percentage, and we'll take a look at the gradebook in a little bit. This next one, attempts, is where you can choose how many attempts a student will get. So you can have all the way up to 10 or unlimited. I'll say 3. And then you're going to be asked, what score do you want to show up as the main score in the gradebook? Which one should we show there? You're going to be able to see all the scores of all the attempts, and I'll show you what that looks like also in a little bit. So you can choose first attempt, the last one, the best attempt, or an average. I'll go ahead and select the best attempt. That'll show up as the main grade for the student. And then this is where you set the time limit. So I'm creating this assignment with just the one quiz. So I'm going to decide, yes, I want a time limit. I'm going to say it's going to be 5 minutes. And I will let you know too, in my roster here is where you can, I'll show you that in a minute. You're going to be able to set accommodations for your students. If somebody wants, needs it to be untimed or time and a half or whatnot, you can do that in the roster. But for right now, you'll start out by saying for everybody, it's 5 minutes. Now here's the feedback part. So there's two pieces to this, during the quiz and after the quiz. So when I was showing you the quizzes at the beginning, you saw what it looked like when I got multiple attempts for each question. So you can pick after each question and at the end of the quiz, or you can just pick at the end of the quiz. So I'll just leave it as at the end of the quiz. And now here's the correct answer option. So right now, here are the options that we have. And I'm going to get to your question because it's on our list is the short answer. The long answer is here's what we have available now. You can show them the correct answers after every quiz attempt. And this is just for multiple choice. So obviously in dissection, we can't show exactly what are the correct answers unless you choose that feedback during the quiz. Because you might have a question that says select anything that does this and there could be 50 things. So really hard to see. But for right now, this is available for multiple choice questions. You can show the correct answers after every quiz attempt. You can show correct answers only on the last quiz attempt, or you cannot show correct answers at all. But we do have on our list that, and I think maybe what you're asking is you want it to perhaps show correct answers only after the deadline passes. Is that, that's definitely something that we have on our list because that's been requested by a few folks. So that is on our list for the future. So right now you can pick after every quiz attempt, only on the last attempt, or just don't show them at all. But we do have on our list, as I mentioned, showing when everybody's done and the due date has passed. So I'll keep this to don't show correct answers. And then this is where you write the description of whatever you want to say about the quiz. You can save the draft or you can publish it. And when you publish it for the students, you can email them that it's live or just publish it and they'll see that it's live. You saw on my student course here, the student will see since the last time they logged in how many assignments have been posted for them when they look here. And it's also posted on the calendar. So that is how you assign an off-the-shelf quiz. And then let me just show you in the roster. I only have my student self here, not a very big roster, but this is where you could make those accommodations. So right now it defaults to none, but perhaps I might need time and a half. I might need it only untimed. You can make those decisions here, or if there's another time limit that you like, you can do that. So I can change to time and a half for this student and select save. So before I move on, I'll pause again to ask if there are any questions. That was just sort of what all those different facets are that you can do for your quiz, all the different kind of things that you're able to choose at this point.
Great, thanks, Lori. So I am going to go to Judy Gustafson. Hang on one second, Judy. I'm going to unmute you. So go ahead, Judy. You can ask your question.
I was wondering about how when you make assignments that are ungraded, is there a way to tell if the students have actually attempted the assignments?
So right now we just have tracking in place to track the graded assignments. We don't have it in place to track the ungraded assignments at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And then there was a question from Renee. She says, I see there is attempts, but how many times can we assign that they can try a question before it kicks them to the next question?
So that has to do with the setting of when they see the feedback. So let's go back to that dissection quiz. And I want to tell you too, real fast, that when I made that assignment and populated in the folder, it puts it to the top. So you can just drag and drop wherever you wanted that to be in order for your students. You just drag and drop anything that you want. So let's go back into that. So you can see I have an edit button here and that I haven't published it yet. The other way you can see it's not published is because when you come down here, you see that you can see that I'm hovering over the screen check. The multiple choice quiz has been published, but this one has not been. So I have a chance to make edits. So I'm going to come back in here to select edit. And if you want the student to have more than one chance to answer each question, that's when you pick feedback during the quiz. You want it after each question and at the end of the quiz. And that will say, nope, you got it wrong. Do you want to try again? They press try again, select something else, and go that way. So this is where you would do it, feedback during the quiz.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go into, Leah has a question. Go ahead, Leah.
Hi, yeah, I wasn't sure exactly where to post it, so I put it in the chat on the Q&A. But so I get that there's not yet the functionality to release the answers after everybody in, you know, established class has completed it. But if, as an instructor, we know that all the students have completed it, can we then go back and select the show answers, so when the students go back and look at the quiz, they can then see the answers?
That is a great question. I am not 100% sure, but what we can do is we can try it out. Let's try it out and see. So I'm a student, so let's go to my student course and let's look at my assignments and let's look at what I already took. I know I took a bunch of these quizzes already. So I took, and let's see my grade for lower respiratory dissection quiz. Okay, so the dissection quiz is not going to show correct answers because it's too hard to do. This one does show the correct answer. So what I wonder is if I go back into that assignment and edit it, will it remove the correct answers? And then if I didn't, you know, do it, will it put it in?
Yeah.
We can try. I don't know. Let's see. Lower respiratory multiple choice. Here. So I'll go ahead and edit my settings and I will say, don't show correct answers. We'll try it in reverse.
Yeah.
Because I had that available. Okay, now I'll publish it and it'll say, you just might have changed, you know, the modifications you may have made for any individual students. I'm going to show you later. You could like manually change your grade for one student at a time and things like that. It's going to wipe it out if you do something like this. So I'm going to select okay. All right, now I'll refresh my screen here. And let's see. This is very exciting. Worked in reverse, so I'm going to assume it works moving forward.
Okay, so
that's a really great workaround you helped us discover, actually.
Yeah.
So you could turn it on for them after the due date passed, and that's exactly how you would do it. You go into your assignment, you'd select edit, but you do need to keep in mind that if you made any individual modifications for students, like if you manually changed a grade or something like that, it might wipe that out.
Okay, got it. All right, good to know. And then just as long as we're on this kind of the gradebook topic, that's actually the first I've seen the gradebook. If you download that as a CVS, I think it's a CVS.
Oh yeah, the CSV. Yep.
CSV, thank you. The CSV file.
Yep.
Does it download each? It doesn't just it downloads each of the individual assignments and the respective grades, not just one grade for all of their visible body stuff, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll do the Canvas one just to show you. This is what it'll look like, and it's pretty, you know, generic. There's probably in a lot of cases what we tried to do is do the most common. I'm sorry, my Excel is cranky because I don't technically have it anymore. But this is these are all the assignments, and these are all this is just the one student, so pretend you're going to have many students in here.
Yeah,
it's
perfect.
Row 3. So these are my scores on all the quizzes that I've taken.
Perfect. Yep. Okay, that sounds great. That way I can just copy it and paste it into our shell.
Yep.
D2L shell.
Yep,
Okay,
you can.
great.
And
Thank you.
Yep. We've chosen, you know, all the major learning management systems that we're aware that folks are using, but there's also the standard one that wouldn't.
Oh, wait. So if we're using D2L, if you do export CSV and you click D2L, how does it, you still have to upload it into your shell? Yeah.
Yep. So we have a note. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in a sec, but this also is a note. So you have to add a column to the CSV file with each student's D2L user ID before importing the grades. That's something that we learned when we were doing this. So there is information, you're gonna have to add a column with that D2L user ID. That's not something that we would have.
Got it. Yep.
But you would have it. So then here's the D2L one would look like this. So you could see the Canvas one had the column for the SIS user ID for Canvas users who integrate courseware. We fill that in, but that's the only integration. We have a light integration for Canvas, and we haven't started work on the others yet, but this is what you would get. And you would just have to put in a column for the user ID.
That's great. Or I can just export from our D2L and then copy and paste into their grades.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, sounds good. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then Lori, while you're on the gradebook, we have a question about from Barbara. Are you able to see how many attempts per student per quiz?
Yes, you are. So let me show you. This is not the most robust gradebook you'll ever see because it's just me. But here's what I'll show you about the gradebook. So you can see here that, when I set up this dissection quiz, I said I wanted the best score to populate. And you can see when I submitted it and what time and how long it took. And then here's some other features of the gradebook. I'm just going to hold down this gray caret here. And you can view other quiz attempts. So this one I guess I only did once. I have another one to show you. Let's see. I think it was, let's see. Oops, sorry. Because you can see multiple quiz attempts, and then you can see, the detailed grades. Let's see, did I do this twice? I did this one twice. Okay, great. So you can see I submitted it April 9th at 3:08 p.m. It took me 1 minute and 32 seconds, and you can click on this to see how I did. And you can see this is an example of a multiple choice quiz that shows the correct answer. And there's my total score. And then you can also see for the other attempt, I did very badly, and I didn't take very much time either. So I only took 54 seconds on this. So these were some metrics that we're able to share with you, so you can see how long it took a student to complete a quiz, and maybe that will help you draw certain conclusions. If they got 100 and it was open for 10 minutes, you might draw some conclusions, versus if it was open for 10 seconds and they got 100%, then that might tell you something else. So that's that feature. You can see the different quiz attempts. And then while we're here, I can show you, this is how you manually change a grade for one student. You just select that. And then if you want to modify the quiz details, this is where you would come if you wanted to give one student in particular extra attempts or extend their due date. So you could see, I gave 4 attempts. This person has 2 remaining. You could also take them away. You could remove additional attempts for a student or add them. And then you could extend the deadline. And then you can also choose to send an email to the student that you did this, if you like. So that's the short version of the gradebook demo. So that's good. You actually helped me cover number 5 already. Are there any other questions on the gradebook while we're here? Or the other pieces I was going to share was just how you edit a pre-made quiz and how you make your own questions and quizzes. But I'm happy to take more questions before I go into the customization piece.
Yeah, so the next questions, I'm just scanning the chat, do lend themselves to the next topic, Lori, about adding questions to an existing quiz. And so yeah, I think that'd be good to move on to that, and then we can get more questions.
Okay, perfect. All right, so why don't I go ahead? I have an example I'd like to show. So let's say, we did axial skeleton as an example of just an off-the-shelf. So what I want to do now is edit a pre-made quiz. So what I want to do is say I'm teaching digestive. And let's say that I have taught separately the oral cavity. I've taught separately the stomach and esophagus. I've taught the small and large intestine, and so on and so forth. And let's just say I want to do like a quick wrap-up quiz. So I want to see what Visible Body has for a wrap-up quiz. And I want to do this quiz using the anatomical model. So I'm going to come in and choose Visible Body. I'm going to choose dissection, and I'm going to choose the digestive system. And I'm not going to select any subtopics yet because I just want to see. So you can see here that there are separate quizzes on all the areas that I mentioned. And then here's kind of a bigger one. And again, this is where the preview quiz button is. If you want to see it in 3D, you certainly can, but otherwise sometimes folks find it easier just to scan through in 3D. So I'm looking in here, I see there's 24 questions. I don't know that I want to do any questions on teeth maybe for this particular wrap-up quiz. And I don't know, I might want to delete a couple questions and I might want to add a couple questions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select clone here. And I'm going to name this anything that I like. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call this the digestion wrap-up quiz. Go ahead and save that. And now I see an edit. And that enables me to go in and it always is going to send your quiz that you just cloned. It's going to send it right to the top of your list. So I'm going to go ahead and select edit. And here's what I'm going to see. These are all the different steps. And when you create a quiz that I'll show you next, it's going to look exactly the same. This is just everything's already filled in. So here's the quiz name. And again, we give you another opportunity to edit the name if you like. And then we ask you to tag it. And the tags here relate to those filters that I was using before about the topic and the subtopic. And then we also have a way to filter by Bloom's level. And then we also put in some keywords. So all the pre-made quizzes in Visible Body, these things are already all filled out, so they're easy to find when you're filtering. And we put a ton of keywords in, and you can put in whatever keywords you like. You might be wanting to, search. There's a search bar in the quiz bank, and you might want to put in salivary ducts and see all the quizzes that contain information about that. And that's kind of why we did that in advance for you. But you can also add keywords like lab quiz 1, digestive lab assessment, like whatever you want, so you can find it easier later if you want. So those are the categories. And then here's kind of the configuration piece. So we wanted to let you know, so for example, this has 24. I'm scrolling down to see. There are 24 questions here. And I don't want to use all of them. So I had mentioned that I don't really want to quiz on the teeth. So I see select an incisor. Select any incisor. So I'm just going to come over here to the right and I'm going to use the trash can. And we're going to say, you sure? We always, anytime you want to delete anything, we ask you twice just because it's kind of common practice anymore. Because we've certainly all deleted things by accident. So we ask twice in the hopes that it won't be by accident. So now select any molar. I'm going to get rid of that too. So I don't want anything to do with the teeth. And I come back down and I'm okay. So right now, I think that I would like to add some more questions to this quiz. So what I want to do is maybe get up to 25 and then I want to make a pool. So I'm going to select add more questions. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to choose visible body and I'm going to choose digestive system. And the quiz bank already knows that you're only in the world of dissection quiz questions. So we're going to show you all the digestive system questions that we have, and you can see here there's 18. And an important note is that we are not going to serve up any questions that are already in the quiz. So these are all ones that are here. And also if you have gone in and made your own questions, you can also select your own name too. So I made some of my own along the way, and I can tell they're mine because I have edit here. And there's a clone process to make your own questions that we'll go over too, just like we saw in the quiz. So anyway, these are all the questions available to me that I can add to my quiz if I want. So I am going to select this one. You can do a select all also if you want and make a huge pool, you certainly can, or you can just select the few that you want. We'll do gingiva, but not teeth. We'll ask a couple tough artery questions. Okay, and then I have save and next. So now what you're going to do is see that I have all the questions added here, and that I have 27. Okay, so that's too many. So I only wanted 25. So let's get rid of that tonsil question and perhaps any part of the pancreas. That's an easy one. We'll get rid of that. So now I have 25 questions and I want to pool them. So we default that all the questions will be in a randomized order. If you do not want that, you can uncheck randomized order and you can actually do a drag and drop to put them in a deliberate order if that's what you want to do. If you want to pool, you select pool And then you just choose, okay, I want every student to have 5. And this automatically checks again, because obviously in a pool, we'll serve up a random assortment of 5 questions for each student and for each attempt. So if you give, assign this quiz and you give 3 attempts, the student's gonna get a different set of 5 questions every time. So that's how you delete and add questions. And so now I'll come to the top and I'll save the quiz. And what you're able to do here is decide, we kind of give you a choose your own adventure screen here. Do you want to go ahead and assign this quiz? You're ready? Do you want to make another quiz, or do you just want to be done and go do something else? So I'll just show you. You can go ahead and assign this quiz. A lot of times it makes it real easy. And so I'll pick the course that I want. And I was here. I have a lot of courses. I was here in the lab assessments demo. I'm going to select continue, and then it'll say, okay, which ones did you want again? And we're going to pick this digestion wrap-up quiz. This P denotes that it's a pool. The student does not see that, but you see that. That is just a reminder. And then you can see the text version of that right here, 5 drawn from 25. So I'm going to select continue, and then here I am to create that new assignment. So here's my digestion wrap-up quiz. I'll name it that. And then I'll do all these these different things that we've talked about. I'll put it in my digestion system folder. I'll make it 10 points. And this applies to the quiz, how many points that quiz is worth. And then I'll have it be displayed in points this time. I can do unlimited attempts. You might want to do that. And you might want to pick the best attempt, no time limit. Whatever it is. So these are just all your different options again. So you can go ahead and save a draft if you might want to come back to it later. Once you publish it, and once the students start taking it, we don't allow you to go ahead and edit the quiz anymore, because it would affect the outcome for the students who have already taken it. If for some reason you want to delete a question or add a question, if you've already assigned it and the student's already taken it, we don't allow you to do that. So it's good to be feel really good about the quiz that you're done with it. And that's what's nice about the save draft feature, that you can come back and tweak it. So say you're like, oh, maybe I did want to add that incisor. Again, what you actually have to do is go to the quiz bank and find it and see how I haven't published it yet. That's why you see an edit. So you can go here and edit that quiz, and you can come back here and you can, make your edits to it. So we do let you do that. So that's kind of how you customize a pre-made quiz. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so we've got one from Sarah McNorton. Go ahead, you can ask your question.
So I was wondering, for my course, I have 4 different lab sections, and I want them to take like a pre-lab quiz. But I want essentially the same quiz, but I want to offer it at 4 different times throughout the week. Is the best way, is there a way to, if I make a quiz with say 25 questions, I only want them to take 5, do I clone that 4 times and set different release times?
That's a great question, because it brings me to discuss a feature that we don't have yet, but that we know is requested, and that we don't have a way for you to effectively handle sections in one course. So for example, if you have 4 sections of this similar lab, and you want something like for axial skeleton, will come here, you want them to do these things and take these quizzes, but you have 4 sections, you're going to want to create 4 courses in Courseware, 1 for each section. But your quiz bank is your quiz bank, so that you can actually, when you're here in the courses listing, so the course I've been showing you is this lab assessments demo, you can make a copy. And when you make a copy, you can call it section 2. And then you have a copy of that master course that you've made, and it'll have all your same quizzes in there. And then you can go in and make additional setting changes if you want for the different, you can set the times different and things like that. But if you are happy with the content of one course and want to roll it out to different sections, I would advise, feel really great about your first master course, and then just make a copy of it for your other sections. And then you can tweak the due dates, tweak the time limits, and all that kind of thing per section.
Because I don't won't the students see every single section? And so then they're gonna have to remember what section they're in.
So you would want to create one courseware course per section. That's what I'm doing here, is creating a copy of a master course. And now this is section 1, section 2 rather. So for example, I can rename, so we're just creating the course. So you're making a copy, and you can see that's just in progress right now. So what I can do is I can edit the course info. This is how I could change the name. So I can call this section 1. And so now I have a copy of the section 1 course. I have one for section 2. You can make another copy for section 3, another copy for section 4. And then what you're going to want to do is go into your section 1 course. And this is where you invite the students to section 1 course. So this is the link you send your section 1 students. And then you would manage your section 2 course, which is a copy of your original. So it has all the same stuff in it. And you could just change the time and things like that. You would go ahead and come into the invite people link. And this is the link specific to your section 2 course.
Yeah, well, because I was hoping to just put one link on my Blackboard site, but I'm wondering if I don't want to make 4 different courses, can I not make 4 different quizzes, but set them to all release at different times?
You can do that. Yeah, you could do that. So you could have, for example, this is your 1 course. I mean, you could make different, but all the students who are in this course would see it. So you could name it Muscular System Overview Quiz Section 1, and then make another quiz assignment and call that quiz Muscular System Overview Quiz Section 2. And then you could tell the students, hey, only take the quizzes that have your section number on it. You could do it like that.
Right.
Now,
Now, if
it's
you
not perfect. Yeah. And then
Right.
you could set the release date and time and the configurations specific for that.
But if you're inviting people, if you're going to go back to your original suggestion, if you're inviting people, how do you only invite like 1/4 of the course?
So if you're trying to manage all your sections in one courseware course, they all have to be in that course.
But if I
So-
were to do 4 different ones, like,
Yep.
do I select the students who I want to invite for section 1 and then invite them and then do it again for section 2?
You know what? All you'll do is share the invite people link. So if you have, I'm not sure, like say in did you say you use Blackboard?
Yeah.
So say, do you have a Blackboard course for each section?
No.
So you have one Blackboard course for all your sections.
Yeah.
So what you could do is do one post for them and say, okay, like, do they know what section they're in? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should. So what you want to do is you could make a post and say, okay, if you're in section 1, join with this link. If you're in section 2, here's where you get it. Join with this link, and tell the student, please make sure, you join the right section. If they don't, there is this roster. Oh, I got nobody in this one because that was my copy. There is a transfer. So if you're in your section 1 and you're like, I know, when I look at my roster, you would see lots more people than that. And you would say, I know Lori's student is not in section 1. You can see here I'm in the section 1 class. I know she's in section 2. You can transfer her to, you just get the list here of the other courses and you can transfer her to section 2.
Okay. And I just had one more quick question. Sorry.
Sure.
So when it says feedback, don't show correct answers, and then at the end of the quiz, there's no way, obviously, to not give them any feedback. Like, is the feedback, if you just choose at the end of the quiz, don't show correct answers, do they still get you got 3 out of 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So if you say, don't show correct answers, they'll still be able to see what they got right and wrong, but they'll see those red X's and the green checks per question, but they won't see the correct answers.
So there's no way to turn that off, because that's a good way for them to cheat.
So that's another thing that I will write down, because that might be part and parcel of, the different options we can do in terms of correct answers only after the due date. I'm just writing this down. After due date. And then maybe what you're saying is it would be nice if there was an option to don't show any feedback anytime.
All until the instructor chooses. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Right. Thank you. All right. So let's see. Renee's question was very similar. So Renee, I'll unmute you just in case you had a follow-up question. Hang on 1 second. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question was, and I guess it does follow along her lines. I just don't know. I don't feel like it was answered clearly for me anyway.
Sure.
So are we able to make as many courses as we want to? So I have an integrated class. So they don't go to anatomy and physiology and then go to pathology and go to another course and kinesiology and this and that. It's all in one space. And so am I able to make different sections to be part of those different courses, that one course?
So again, right now, the functionality that we have is that you would have that master course with everything in it that you like, and then you would just have to make a copy of the course for each section.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that'd probably be the simplest way. But we do have, and actually what would be great is, I think we have a way, Emily, right, for folks to get in touch with us after. It would be really great. We'd love to be able to talk more with instructors who have these different requests, run some ideas by them, run some mock-ups by them. Like, we would love to, the folks who talked about sections, we would love to get your information and follow up with you if you'd like, because we would love to be able to say, get into some more details from a product development perspective. Like, what would it look like to you? Like, what would you like it to look like? And how would you like it to work? And what would make sense for you and make it easier for you? We'd love to learn all that, because we have not started digging into how we would manage multiple sections yet, but it's definitely on our list. So definitely send us a note if you'd be interested in kind of working with us on shaping what that could look like.
Definitely. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've got a question from Luis Rosado. Hey, Luis, hang on one second. I'm just going to find you on the attendee list here. Go ahead. How are you?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm well. Thanks for taking my question. I had a question earlier when you were doing the quiz demonstrations, and this is something that I've been trying to wrap my head around, is how to create a type of lab practical exam. Have you thought about that and how to do something like that?
We have. We definitely have been working on a project through our editorial team to take those. I don't know if you're familiar with the lab activity PDFs that we have available. We're working on a way to put those into Courseware using the quizzing engine so that we can package up labs for you, and then you can edit questions in there, add your own, take out the ones that you don't want, and then they can be auto-graded through Courseware. So we have started work on that actually very recently and trying to roll out some auto-graded labs for you.
I've heard other people discuss this where they're like the fillable PDFs.
Yep, that's the latest thing that we've done with those PDFs.
Yeah.
You still can't edit them is the problem, and I'm sure that's something that you would like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to comment on your ideas about breaking up into several sections. I think that seems like a really good way to manage it. I think a lot of us are going to be having to do that come this fall.
Yeah.
Is splitting up our classes into multiple sections, group A and B and that sort of thing.
Right.
I'm happy to discuss this with you further offline, but yeah, I think it's going to be a big need for the fall, especially.
Yep. Great.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we definitely love to follow up. It's really a very important part of our product development process is to talk to you all and get specifics. And if you have examples or, whatever it is, we really would enjoy that conversation for sure.
I'd love to talk to you about the gradebook too at some point.
Oh yeah. We have a very long list about the gradebook.
I'm sure some of them are mine.
Yep. Yeah, that is definitely something. And I will, let you all know, for real, this is we take the feedback so seriously, and we really embrace, that people are so willing to talk to us and give us the feedback, because we want very much to continuously improve this platform. We've got, a lot of folks working on it and trying to get things updated and out there, as often as possible. So it's really important to us to get that feedback, and we do listen very, very much. So
yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, I think the courseware is great, and you know, all these little things that I suggest are just tweaking it to make it even better. And
yeah,
so
that's what we want to do. Yeah,
I really appreciate that you guys take that kind of feedback and actually listen to it, and not just, you know, put it in the recycle bin or whatever.
yeah, no, not at all. I mean, that's what helps us. You know, it helps us as much as it helps you, right? Yeah. So that's great. All right, Luis, we're going to follow up with you for sure. And I know some of the other folks who were talking earlier will definitely, we'd love to follow up on that.
Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've got a question from Charlie. Charlie, go ahead. You just need to unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Okay, this was from when you were I tried to allow everyone else to say something. Can you go back to where you did the quiz and how you had the time and the percentage and everything for a second?
Sure. Let's go back to, what did we have? We can do the Axial skeleton quiz or something. So here I am here.
And here's the question.
Yep.
You see the point value and the display grade as percentage.
Yes.
Here's my question. If I wanted to have visible body be 20% of the final grade, out of that 20%, 10% comes from 10 multiple choice quizzes, and 10% comes from 10 dissection quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
What do I put there in the point values? Do I put 100 and then put it as a percent?
So that's a really interesting question. So you're saying you've got 10 multiple choice, 10 dissection, and together you want those to count as 20% of their total grade?
The final grade.
Yeah. So in the grade book, that's a good question. And I might need to get back to you on the details, but here's what I know. Here's what I know. And then we're happy to find out more information for you. What happens when you have all these different quizzes? It rolls up to a total course grade in Courseware. So these are the total points that have been assigned, the 760, and this is how many I've gotten out of that 760. So I have lots of, like you can see, and again, this is a sample course. I'm sure this will not happen for you, but like I didn't do these in time, so I get a bunch of incompletes. So you can see I'm not doing terrifically well in this course. But say you have assigned a total of 760 points, and then you will see how many points your students have based on how well they did on the quiz. And then this is my course grade so far. So I've only done, it's not very good. So I think what would happen, and again, we'll get some more details and we'll write your name down too, Charles, to get back to you. And we can certainly post this for folks too, is like, I think that you would have to factor in this total course grade into the rest of your, if you're managing a course through Blackboard or Canvas or whatever it is,
Right.
this total course grade will give it to you in real time as the students complete the assignments, and then you'll have to factor that in as 20%, if that makes sense.
You know what? I'm not too sure because that's still, a question. And that's why I wanted to try to make it very simple to say out of the 100% of their final grade, 20% is coming from visible body.
Yeah.
10% is going to come from the multiple choice, 10 from the dissection, and at the end that adds up to 20 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I understand your question. You know what? I think I'm going to write that down and we're going to get back to you because I want to make sure I'm giving you the 100% right answer there.
Because I have to tell you, I posed that several questions to several individuals from visible body, and we're all stumped.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out for you.
And then if I just wanted to, let's say the multiple choice quiz they had for integumentary system, there were 20 questions.
Yep.
Technically, I really only want that to be 1% of their 10
total
quizzes.
grade, right. But we're giving you a number for Courseware to work into your total grade. But you're trying to figure out what that means in terms of what you should put for total points for each quiz.
That's basically it. So if I wanted to have 20 multiple choice questions on each quiz and 20 questions for each dissection, and I wanted the multiple choice to add up to 10%, the dissection 10%, and then that goes into the final grade. That's it.
Yep. Got it.
Okay. I'm
Yep.
glad
We'll
someone
we'll definitely let you know. I just want to make sure I have the 100% right answer for you before I give it to you here.
Okay, and the other question was, somebody asked about how people can get into this and cheat and all this other stuff.
Yep.
There's such a thing now called the Respondents Lockdown Browser,
Yes.
where they have to put it on their computer, that it shuts off all the screens, that the eye is watching you. Only God knows who's really watching you. But do you have that on visible body so that when they take the quiz, that I could tell the students they have to activate their Respondents Lockdown Browser in order to take the quiz?
Right. So thank you for bringing that up, because I know that's particularly important, you know, potentially now with so many folks being remote. So we have not tested it ourselves, but I have spoken to at least one instructor who has set it up using Respondus, and it works fine. But we don't have a button here that says enable Respondus Lockdown Browser. It's certainly something that you can try. But we have it, you know, we do, at risk of sounding like a broken record, we do very much have this on our list to look into. We have not started research into it yet, but we know that it's very important. So I do know of one instructor at least who successfully used it. She set it up herself using Respondus and it was fine. But we don't have a quick way to enable it from within Courseware.
Because that might be another good thing for you to look into.
Yep.
Because of the fact that if, I gotta tell you, I apologize. I have no clue what Respondents Lockdown Browser really does. All I know is I put the fear into them. I said, you gotta get this, you gotta try it, and all your exams are gonna be like this. And you know what? It worked. Now the question is, even if I wanted to check on the students, I have no clue to check, so I have to trust that whatever's going on. But the answer comes out, can we also somehow look into all you wonderful people there, see if how we could do this? Or do I just tell them they have to use Respondents Lockdown Browser before they take your quiz?
Yep.
But,
yep. Thank you. Yeah, we've got it on our list to look into for sure. Yep. So thanks for that feedback.
so you're going to be able to get back to me at least on the first question?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I can let you know exactly what I'm looking for, and then you can pass this on to everybody.
Yep, I'm gonna ask the math wizards in the software development team just to make sure that I am not messing up the math, and we'll absolutely get back to you, I promise.
Should I send my question to Rachel, or should I send it directly to you?
If you send it to Rachel, if you have her information, just send it, and she'll forward it right to me. That's great.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Got just a couple more questions. Luis, I am going to unmute you. You've got a few questions in the chat here. Hang on one second. I apologize, I'm not finding her, so I will ask her question. So first question is, I can't find a picture of a neuron to label for a dissection quiz.
Yes, you know, we're in the middle right now of building a 3D model of a neuron, and we're really excited about it. So we don't have it available in the quiz bank yet because it's not finished being built, but that's actually currently in development with our 3D modeling team. So that'll be coming at some point in the future.
And then her second question is there a movement demo that shows more than one joint at a time? For example, if we want to look at a squat exercise, can we see hip and knee movement at the same time?
Right. At this point, no, we don't. Our muscle actions that we have are specific to one joint at a time or one region at a time. So we do have the various hip movements and the various, you know, shoulder and all the different regions. Those are in the Atlas, Human Anatomy Atlas app, and in the Muscle Premium app, and also in the new Physiology and Pathology app. There's some there, but they are kind of one at a time.
And then Beta, or Beta, I'm so sorry if I just botched your name. Hang on one second. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, as what Charlie was trying to ask, can you separate out the averages for the multiple choice quizzes and the dissection quizzes so they'll be separate instead of being together?
Yeah, right now it does roll up, but I'm going to write that down too as something that is of interest to you. So you want to be able to see kind of the roll up per question, per quiz type.
Yeah, that would be easier because that's actually how Charlie had it, is have it as multiple choice and the other side dissection.
Yep.
Then we just combine it later on.
Yep, got it. Okay, yep. Written down, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then, let's see, Jean Becker had some questions. Go ahead, Jean, you can ask. You just need to unmute yourself on your end.
See it. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so I had a couple of them. Can we create a sandbox course so that we can act like a student? So like in Canvas, I can have a student view. So I set up a quiz and I can go into student view and I can see how it appears to the kids.
Yep, you can right here. Thank you for asking that because I didn't show it. You have a student preview button here.
Awesome.
So I can select that and you can see these are the only things that have been published and that are live to the student.
Awesome. So first I apologize. I am new to Visible Body as of Monday. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants.
No worries. Ask away.
Yeah, I've been watching videos and everything else. I have no idea. So I apologize. Now that you pointed out, I can see that it says student preview. If we make, so when you were talking about having a course and needing to replicate that course 4 times, because I have 4 sections.
Yep.
If I am using my own, if I'm taking your quiz and I'm cloning it, and therefore, quote, kind of becomes mine, if I change one, will it change it in all 4?
No, and thank you for asking that. That's another really good point. So each course, once you make a copy, it exists independently of the master. So you can make changes to section 2 that don't affect section 1 at all.
Well, and I'm sorry to tell all the others, I only have 1 section. So I was just asking that because I'm one of the ones that normally has like 5 sections and you make 1 change and then you've got to remember to go make it 4 more times. And then I think it was Charlie who asked about the Respondus. So I go through Canvas, Canvas goes through Respondus. So there is a way for me to link your quiz through my Respondus. I just had to figure it out on my own.
Yep. Great. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I had seen, talked to one person, I think just one person so far, who did figure out a way to do it. So what happens is that you probably, I'm not sure if you would put in, so this is a distinct URL that launches the quiz. And then also when you launch a quiz, it opens in a new window and you can see that there's a distinct URL here too. So I'm not sure which one you put in to Respondus, to be honest.
I can play around with that and figure that one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But these are all distinct URLs. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I think that's all I had.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. And then Valerie has a question. Go ahead, Valerie.
I think my question just came up with Jean, just with the master course and then having multiple sections. Yeah, we were just curious if you make edits to that master course throughout the term, what would happen? Like, I know now it's not going to carry down, like they're not linked, they're all separate.
Right. Yep, they're all separate.
Could you what would happen if you copied and made a new course from that? Would you have to re-invite all the students?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So it's got to be ready to go. Fully.
Yes, it's easier. I know that that's not easy, but it's easier, I think, if you feel really good about that master. And then you can change, you can make edits, for each instance.
Okay,
yep,
got it.
Yep.
Great. All right, I'm going to go to Dr. Irving Robinson. Go ahead, you can ask your question. You just need to unmute yourself on your end.
Unfortunately, the question was answered
Okay.
because it was related to the section question about multiple sections.
Okay.
So from all the answers I got an idea
Great.
Perfect.
or
Any
an answer.
questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I will go over to Samir. Let's see. Hang on 1 second. Go ahead. You can just unmute yourself on your end and ask your question. So Samir, if you just unmute yourself, you can ask your question. I'll also, hang on 1 second, I'll look in the chat. I can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
My question is regarding when you are setting up a quiz or a quiz for the class. For each question, is there a possible way to set up each question, give different point value for each question?
So there's a way to weight. Thank you for asking that. There is a way for you to weight the questions in the quiz. So let me show you that. Let's see. Let's go into this digestion wrap-up quiz that we made. You can see that each question is weighted the same. So if you want one question to be weighted higher, then you could type it in or just increment. You could have something, if it's particularly difficult, make it twice the weight. It's relative to the others. Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll calculate that to wrap up to the total score.
And second question is, is it possible to link whatever grades they get on Visible Body to Blackboard?
So the way that it would work right now is that export that we saw, that CSV,
Okay.
you go into the Gradebook and you'd export it, and then you'd have to upload it into your Blackboard Gradebook.
Okay. It won't do it automatically by itself?
No, it's it's something we've looked into, and we've started researching that for Canvas. That's one we started with. So we do have a light integration of Canvas so that there's single sign-on available. We're looking at that for Blackboard also. But then the next step would be how to sync the Gradebook. Right now it's not an automatic sync, but there is this manual way for right now.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Any other last questions before we wrap up? Let's see. I think Charlie's got his hand up, so go ahead. Actually, hang on 1 second. I think you can just ask your question, Charlie. You're unmuted.
I just wanted to say thank you. You all have done a great job. And this is really great, this Visible Body. Too bad I didn't have it in medical school so many years ago. That's it. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's really great. We appreciate it. We're so excited about this platform where, it's grown a lot in the years that it's been out, and we have so much further to go, and we're really excited about the development. So all your feedback means a ton, and we're definitely going to follow up. And yeah, we appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much. Any other last questions? All right. Well, I think we're done. We are recording, so we will, we're happy to send this recording to you afterward. And please, you know how to get in touch with us. Contact your Visible Body rep. I will put my email in the chat as well. And then, of course, any of the forms on our website go directly to my team. So they'll go to human beings quickly, and you'll get a response. So if you don't know where else to go, just go to visiblebody.com, fill out any form, and we'll get right back to you. So thanks, everybody. Thank you so much, Lori. This is wonderful.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Bye-bye.